fuck it. Let's just close with one more. And since we were doing Tarantino the last 2 days, we can't go a day or two here without horror. So Horror in the High Desert 2 Minerva from this year is the sequel to Horror in the High Desert from 2021, if I recall correctly. Yeah, 2021. Now, I only saw this once, like when it released a few months ago, I want to say. It's also directed by the same director as the first one, Dutch Marich, and he's also working on a part 3 and I believe a part 4 at the same time. So interesting and good for him that he's able to take a very interesting faux documentary slash mockumentary found footage film. I highly enjoy the first one, and to turn that into a series, good for you, man. But I remember on my first watch of this sequel, I didn't care for it as much as the first one. Now that I know that it's leading to 2 more movies at least, that are all based around, if anyone hasn't seen the first one, it's a fake documentary with found footage involved of an outdoorsman named Gary Hinge who ended up going missing in the high desert of Nevada. And the last bit of his footage, spoilers for that first movie if you haven't seen it, is we see his last footage that he shot before he disappeared, and we see this deformed looking human being or whatever he is, but very I said in that video, Hills has, why can't I fucking say this? Hills have eyes. Wes Craven. 76? Maybe? Who knows? Wes Craven's Hills Have Eyes-ish is how this guy looks. So this movie goes away from that story and tells a completely different story. Now we have the same actress, Susie Block, who played the reporter who was getting interviews with her in the first movie. She also reprises that role here, and they basically say right from the beginning that the whole story with Gary Hinge, that's still being looked into and everything, and that we promise you we will fill you in with any new developments and stuff when they have it. And these events here are in 2018, so a year after Gary Hinge's disappearance, where there are a few tragedies, including the murder of a woman named Minerva, which is where the subtitle for the film comes from. And I think Minnie, right, her nickname? And then we have another woman who goes missing out in the desert. So now in the course of a year, you got Gary who goes missing, you have another woman who goes missing, and you have this person who's found dead. So there's definitely weird stuff going on in the desert of Nevada, which I'm sure there fucking is already, like without any of the fictional stuff that had to be made up here. I'm sure there's already crazy shit going on in Nevada, for sure. So let's talk Horror in the High Desert 2, Minerva from this year. So just like the first film, and I'm watching it, so I'm keeping the atmosphere. It's a fucking creepy movie. Oh, fuck you guys. You listen. You don't have to watch. Now I forgot what I'm going to say because of you guys. All right, so the found footage and the fake documentary, mockumentary feel and stuff of this one, just like the first movie, is excellent. Like, it's done very, very, very well. All the interviews feel very authentic. All the characters feel very genuine. Again, I'll bring up Lake Mungo like I did in that movie. Like it for the first one. It feels very in that type of vein. If the mystery's not working for you, the movie's not going to work for you. That's pretty much like what I could try to tell you. And if you're not a found footage or faux documentary, mockumentary person like this style of film, if you didn't like the first movie, you're definitely, most likely not going to care for this one. But if you are a true crime fan, these movies feel like true crime documentaries. So even if you're not a found footage fan, you like true crime, check them out. But overall, it's good. It's entertaining. It's just not as good as the first one for me. Like, these are the type of movies that I really don't have much to say about because they're ones that you just have to watch. I said the same thing with the first movie. It's like a documentary. No one wants to listen to someone, like, go through a documentary. So just check them out. We start seeing interviews with the friend of Minnie or Minerva who moves to Nevada, and she's the one who ends up being found murdered. And then we see some footage and stuff that was taken afterwards, and we see some other footage of this woman who went missing a few years prior, who was being basically held at gunpoint and killed on camera. So my whole theory is that all the disappearances, then we get into the disappearance of the woman later that night. I think it was the same night as Minerva being killed. This other girl is driving back from Vegas, and she ends up going missing, and they never recover her body or find her or anything. So my theory is that these are, because of the cabin, the shack that Gary finds in the first movie, I'm guessing these are like just basically like backwoods, hillbilly, deformed killers of some kind that have been picking off drifters or people that go into the desert and stuff for years, probably. And just the fact that Marich is working on, like I said, 2 more films at least, I'm sure it's going to be fleshed out even more in the next 2. But if you haven't seen either of these, definitely check out the first one. If it works for you, check out the second one. It just came out this year. Fun watch, just not as good as the original for me. So hopefully, can't wait to see part 3. Hopefully that one is up to par with these 2. And I guess I'm going to bed. Take care.